I just got away from my Git box. I was playing some tunes. Down south, we play lots of tunes on the Git box. It's real nice.
I still remember when I met the guys back in 1987 or 1988. Met them while I was out fighting the homeless. It was sort of a pastime of mine back then. It was a lot of fun, really, because they were too weak to defend themselves most of the time. And as it turned out, they were in a band called Anal Fu Manchu, and they were looking for a bass player, and, I mean, since I play bass, I decided I'd try out, I didn't have anything to lose. So I went in and, we just clicked right away, playing brutal death metal and grindcore, it was just a lot of fun for us.
We found Chris fighting with some homeless people, I think. We were egging homeless people, so we really got along well. We were really just looking for a bass player who could windmill, because, at that time, a lot of people didn't know how to headbang properly, and windmilling was probably more important to us than his actual playing ability.
So we recorded, our first album, Mutilated Hooker, and it got circulated a bit. It wasn't a real hit or anything. But when our second album came out, Arabian Goggles, things really just took off there, and we started doing world tours and things, and a lot of trouble started then. There was a lot of tension between Alex and Scott in the band in particular. Alex just hated that fat loser, and there wasn't really anything the rest of us could do about it because we didn't know what it stemmed from, Do you have anything to say to all the people you hate?
Yeah. Scott, I hate that kid.
I'll kill him.
A lot of people looked at me. I actually had hate clubs brewing because, we were talking about asses and stuff in our lyrics and stuff, or the fact that I hated our frontman, Scott, at the time. A lot of people thought I hated him just because he was fat. That wasn't the only reason. He also smelled terrible.
I just don't shower.
He liked to beat women.
She doesn't make supper or something? Gotta keep her along.
He was full of problems, I don't know. The rest of our band was pretty tame, not dysfunctional in any way, shape, or form.
I remember when we found out that Scott died, it was probably the happiest day of Alex's life,
Woo!
He just took off his pants and started screaming for joy. It was really inappropriate, but it was hard not to get caught up in it, so I took my pants off too and started screaming, and before we knew it, we were asleep. We were all tired out from the screaming and pants waving we were doing, Sort of sad in a way that Scott's death made Alex so happy, but I guess that's the way the world works.
When Scott died, that was probably the best day of my entire life. It wasn't only fun because, we were partying and everything that he was, fun. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I was really satisfied that he finally died.
He didn't have any family or anything to take care of his funeral, so we were going to, but then we actually lost his body in Japan. I think Alex got a little too intoxicated one night and took Scott's body tubing and just lost him in the bottom of a lake, I guess.
The great thing about it too was that, his body was kind of a waste of space, but I put that to better use. I went tubing on him, as some of you may know, when I was drinking a little at the after party. His body, I think, got eaten by a giant crab off the coast of Japan, but that's an entirely different story altogether.
I remember Alex didn't even go to Scott's funeral. He said that he had to visit his grandparents, but his grandparents are dead. So I figure he just stayed home and you know, went on the computer and looked up naughty images of women. Because that's the kind of guy he is. But anyways, we replaced Scott and we found, you know, a new vocalist or whatever. And went on tour again. Nobody really noticed that Scott was gone other than the chicks, you know, who started coming to shows again. And we did probably another tour or two and decided to take some time off to write another album. And when it came time to start recording, Steve had skipped town.
Steve and me have always been getting along. He seemed to have a strange obsession with tacos and Mexicans and stuff.
We found a note in his basement saying he was leaving to find his inner Baja. None of us really knew what that meant, but we figured we wouldn't be seeing him ever again because he wasn't that smart.
My fifth cousin married what is my dad.
We figured he was going to get himself killed.
What's the point of that, you know?
So, you know, we replaced him again and finished our third album, which we call Meat Hook Dentures. And then went on tour again. And we finished about half our tour and we were just taking a break where we could come home and relax. And that's when Devin got killed. He was brutally beaten to death by his dad. He had always talked about how his dad had beaten him before, but we always thought he was just, you know, joking or whatever.
Devin, how often is your dad able to hit you while you're sleeping, before you wake up and catch him?
Oh, you caught me off guard there. Depends on the size of the object he's hitting me with, I suppose. One time he threw a bathtub on me, full of washer and sharks. The bathtub didn't wake me up. I'm used to that kind of stuff. I had a microwave, a stove. Yeah, pretty much any household appliance that you might use, a blender turned on.
Has he ever been to jail for it?
No,
Yeah?
I wouldn't report him. No. If you're watching this, Dad, I'd never turn you in. You're a great guy.
But I guess we were wrong, and now he's dead. Pretty sweet.
Devin dying, that was another shocker for our band. A few years after Steve left, Devin's dad killed him. It was a really big deal for us.
It's funny now watching all those, you know, old videos of us because it was just so different back then. It's hard to really describe, but I guess the fame made us more mature in some ways and crazier in the others.
What makes your band better than all the other competing metal bands?
We're fasters.
Mostly me. Yeah, and me.
Steve makes us all angrier, which lets us play angrier and better heavy metal.
I have more guns than everybody.
I mean, looking back, we just seem so, you know, human. And then after we got money and popularity and stuff, it was just like, didn't matter if we were human or not because nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to know that. You know, they just wanted to be around us because we were the big thing and had a lot of money. And I think that eventually, you know, went for the interband relationship where we were just sort of still a band because there was money to be made and people liked us, you know? And that's basically how the band came to an end. That's why I'm here today, you know? Just to honor all of our dead members and ultimately the demise of our band.
This real lame